No, it's never happened in America. And then when you throw on the animus and the jealousy and the media being against her.
Michael Jordan, the GOAT of basketball, just reacted to Caitlin Clark's takeover of the WNBA. You won't believe what he said about her impact on the game. Is Clark really outshining Jordan in popularity? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
February, March of 2024, it's like, holy cow, she's the biggest star in all of sports, and she's a woman. This is very unique. No woman's ever been asked to carry this burden.
What could be even more absurd? Not only is Clark smashing records, but she's breaking them like glass backboards. Even His Airness can't ignore the buzz she's creating in the basketball world. Jordan has seen a lot in his time, but Clark is drawing attention to himself with his moves. Now for the question of the century. Could Caitlin Clark truly be the game changer that Michael Jordan once was? Is history being written in front of our very eyes? It seems as though Clark possesses a magical touch, as everything she touches becomes radiant. Is it, however, sufficient to place her on par with the GOAT himself? Let's get started and discover the reason for the commotion. What could be more insane than 19 million viewers? The records show how dominant Clark is in the WNBA. When a WNBA game attracted 1 million viewers, did it seem possible? That ceiling was just broken 6 times over by Clark. The worst part is that she won't stop there. To what extent can she raise those figures? Now, let's discuss Clark's effect on WNBA attendance. For 6 regular season games, the Indiana Fever attracted over 1 million viewers. Thanks to Clark for everything. That is absurd.
Here's the excuse I'm going to give them, and this is the bow I'm gonna put on this whole conversation. And this is a sympathetic take towards everybody on the Indiana Fever. And it's gone on nonstop. The Caitlin Clark experience has been nonstop.
Here, we are not discussing the playoffs or titles. These are regular season games bringing in revenue that even veteran WNBA executives find surprising. Consider this. When Clark takes the court against the New York Liberty, 1.71 million people watch. That is unprecedented for a typical WNBA game. She seems to have a magical ability that causes everyone to stop what they're doing and focus on basketball. Let's go back a little now. Do you recall the days when Michael Jordan was transforming the game? Not only did he play basketball, but he also changed the way that people perceived it.
We just watched one of the most unique experiences in the history of sports. And I'm talking about the Caitlin Clark experience.
A must-watch on TV. Jordan elevated NBA games. Everyone was eager to see his next amazing move, his next shot that would win the game. For the WNBA, Clark is carrying out the same action. What's wild? You know, Jordan and Clark are being compared for their drawing power. Consider that for a moment. We are discussing the mentioning of a rookie in the same sentence as one of the all-time great basketball players. That represents a profound change in the landscape of women's basketball, not just marketing speak. Clark is changing more than just the basketball landscape. She's changing the WNBA as a whole. Similar to what Jordan accomplished for the NBA, Clark is attracting new viewers, piquing their curiosity, and making those who had never watched a WNBA game before want to watch everyone right now. The truth is, though, that Clark's influence goes beyond figures. She is altering the public's perception of women's basketball. It's no longer just ardent supporters tuning in, it's sports fans and casual viewers who may not have previously known about the WNBA. Because of how captivating and electrifying Clark's game is, she is attracting new basketball fans on a whim. When it comes to generating a following out of thin air, Clark's impact extends well beyond the basketball court. She's reinventing what it means to be a sports superstar, in addition to being a player in the game. Could I tell you that she's already being referred to as the biggest star in American sports by some? Not just on the court, but everywhere he goes, Clark draws attention. She has endorsement agreements with Gatorade, Nike, and Wilson. Do you recognize this? That's because Michael Jordan had relationships just like these. Not only is Clark pursuing her own path, but she's also trailblazing ahead of Jordan. What's wild, you know? In fact, a seasoned analyst referred to Clark as the biggest star in American sports. That's a statement, not just marketing speak. We are discussing a rookie being compared to some of the greatest athletes in history in the same sentence. It seems as though Clark possesses a magical touch that makes everything she touches turn to gold. This is where things get really interesting, though. Renowned for his audacious observations, Jason Whitlock likened Clark's commitment to none other than Tiger Woods. I know golf isn't a contact sport, but Tiger Woods' fortitude in winning the US Open with just one leg, he remarked. He used to undergo military training to get ready for the game of golf. I would liken Caitlin Clark to that person. That alone is a great compliment. Consider Jordan's well-known spirit of competition now. The kind of guy who would use a minor slight as motivation for his next move. Clark is displaying a similar type of fire. She is living and breathing basketball. It's not just something she plays. It seems like she uses every game as an opportunity to advance herself and prove something. But what about Clark's impact? It continues past the last buzzer. Recall how Jordan revolutionized the sneaker scene? How did he transcend beyond the game of basketball? Clark is acting in a comparable manner. Supporters are demanding that she be added to Team USA by carrying signs and wearing her jersey to Olympic training sessions. That's the cultural impact, not just support. Know what's absurd? Clark hasn't even reached her peak yet. She's only just getting started, but already she's altering the rules. It's similar to witnessing the start of a brand new basketball era. Clark is now doing it for the WNBA, after Jordan did it for the NBA. What's wild, you know? In the world of sports, Caitlin Clark has recently acquired a moniker that is drawing attention and raising questions. Air Clark or the next Jordan are not the topics of discussion here. No, it's even more surprising than that. Not too long ago, the Wall Street Journal named her the GOAT of TV ratings. Yes, the rookie is already being referred to as the greatest of all time, but not in the manner you may expect. This has more to do with her off-court abilities. Her ability to captivate audiences like it's no big deal is what matters. Folks, we're talking about numbers that break records. Clark is influencing basketball viewing habits in addition to her skill as a player. Do you recognize this? It ought to, given that's precisely what Michael Jordan used to do. This is where things get really interesting, though. The legendary basketball player Nancy Lieberman is praising Clark. Not only is she discussing Clark's game, but she's also discussing her generational impact. Regarding improving the financial success of female athletes, Lieberman compares Clark to Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods. Being in that company is quite serious, particularly for a novice like me. Imagine for a moment that you are attending an Olympic training event. What do you see? Supporters holding signs and donning Clark's jersey are calling for her inclusion on Team USA. It feels familiar, doesn't it? Because Jordan used to receive exactly that kind of fanfare. It seemed like people couldn't get enough of Clark, just as they couldn't get enough of him. Here's the crucial query, though. Is there any merit to this Clark-Jordan comparison, or is it just a PR stunt? On the one hand, we have a rookie who is consistently smashing viewership records. However, we also have the all-time great basketball player. Comparing apples with, well, goats is like that. The way that this entire situation illustrates the evolution of sports and athlete influence is what makes it so fascinating. It was all about shoe sales and Gatorade commercials when Jordan was around. With Clark, it's all about TV ratings and social media followers these days. The game has evolved, both in terms of on-court play. So are we seeing the beginning of a new chapter in the history of basketball stars? Is Caitlin Clark truly destined to be the next Michael Jordan, or is she forging her own path? Time will tell. However, one thing is certain. Clark has already made a significant impact on the game, and she is only getting started. Let's quickly review. Caitlin Clark is shattering records rather than just breaking them. We're talking about viewership figures that even WNBA executives with years of experience find surprising. And those endorsement agreements? She's being compared to Michael Jackson himself. However, it goes beyond numbers. Clark is altering the game in the same way that Jordan did. She's attracting new followers, piquing curiosity, and making those who've never watched a WNBA game fall in love with them. The truth is that both Jordan and Clark have had an impact on basketball, both indisputable but distinct in their own ways. Now for the question of the century, will Clark continue to shatter stereotypes and redefine what it means to be a basketball superstar as her career develops? Time will tell, but one thing is certain. We are witnessing the making of history.